we are going to talk about adding rational expressions together. Just like multiplying and dividing, you always want to look to see if you can factor your anything with your rational expression. The example that I have here on the board does not have anything that needs to be factored, so we can move on to second step. Find the restrictions. If I look at these two denominators, x cannot equal 8 or 2. Otherwise, we would have a 0 in the denominator, and that cannot happen. So now, in order to add any fractions together, simple as just 1/2 and 1/3, you can't add together because the denominator is not the same. So if we look at the rational expressions that we have on the board, they do not have the same denominator. So before we can do anything to actually add, we need to make sure they have the same denominator. So oftentimes the common denominator, if they don't have anything in common, is actually going to just be whatever your denominators are multiplied together. So in this case, since they do not have anything in common, the common denominator itself is x minus 8 times x minus 2. So we want to multiply by our well-chosen one, our giant one, to make sure that each fraction now has the denominator that we need. So if I look at the first fraction, it has the x minus 8. It does not have the x minus 2. So we're going to multiply by a giant one of the x minus 2 that it is missing. And the second fraction has the x minus 2, but does not have the x minus 8. So we're going to multiply by a giant one of the x minus 8. Now, when I do this, I don't need to multiply my denominators together, but since when adding fractions, you add numerators together, we do need to multiply them out to make sure that we have we're able to recognize any like terms that need to be added in the numerator. So 2x times x is 2x squared, and then minus 4x, and we have 2x minus 16. So when you add fractions together, you add them together when their denominators are the same, which is the case at this moment in time. So the denominator, nothing happens to it. That is the denominator when I add the fractions together. So I can keep that as is. But now adding numerators actually adds the fractions together. So I need to look to see if I have anything that any like terms that I can add together in the numerator, which is why I needed to have them multiplied out, because I would not recognize them if I left them factored. So now I take a look at those two numerators. I have 2x squared, negative 4x and positive 2x are like terms, so those add to negative 2x and then minus 16. Now, a second reason why I don't want to multiply the denominators through is because there is a chance that when I add these numerators together that factors and will end up simplifying with something in the denominator. It doesn't always happen, but it could, so we do have to check it. There is a GCF in these numerators. I took out a 2. And actually taking out the 2, there is nothing that multiplies to negative 8 that adds to negative 1. So I can no longer factor anything else in this numerator, so it does not cross off with anything in the denominator. So I know that I am now done at this point in time. But I would not know that if I did not check it.